Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome back to my channel if you're coming back. My name is Marissa Price. I am a social worker, healer, business educator, specifically focused on Black women, helping Black women grow feel good businesses, digital businesses that allow them to get free, right? Allow us to get free of toxic environments. As I left toxic work environment, I know this is the case for a lot of us. So if you're here, thank you so much for being here. I do want to introduce my incredible guest today, Sandra from Black to Legacy on YouTube. And then I'll pass it over to her. But Sandra has helped me actually plan my trips to Mexico, giving me the insight that I needed to get over the fear, which I know stops a lot of us. So just having her as a support. So I'm so glad that she's here to share her journey with us. I'll pass it over to her to introduce herself.
Marissa, thank you for having me. It's just like getting together with an old friend. We're just going to chat today.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Yep, Sandra from Black to Legacy on YouTube. And I am a retired teacher. I taught for almost 30 years. I was a cog in the system, in the wheel. And it just got to be too much on too many levels, too many areas. And one day I just woke up and decided, you know what? This is not working. Who are we kidding?
Mm-hmm.
This is not sustainable and it's not working. And from that day, that moment of honesty and clarity, I was able to take just a breather long enough to say, okay, so you know now it's not working and you can't deny it. What are you going to do? And so fast forward 2 years
Mm-hmm.
later, here I am in Chiang Mai, Thailand, retired, and really living the life that I created in the life that I love. And I think my message today for anybody who is listening, and Marissa and I were talking about this just before we went live, is that I don't want to say I'm not special because I feel special. I'm special. We're all
Mm-hmm.
special. But what I'm doing and the way I'm living isn't special. Anybody can do it. Anyone can do it. Anyone can wake up and say, you know what, today's my day. I am no longer
Mm-hmm.
doing things that don't serve me. I am no longer going to overstay in places that I've
Ooh.
either outgrown or they don't fit me.
Mm-hmm.
It starts right there with that declaration that I am worth making this call for myself because nobody else is going to do it for us. And so I hope that at the end of this discussion, that at least one person who is listening leaves with the surety that yes, I can do it. Cassandra did it. She's not wealthy. I was a teacher. Everybody in the world knows teachers don't get paid. Everybody in
Yeah.
the world knows that. So you know I didn't start out independently wealthy. I didn't come from money. You know, I had been an okay saver and investor. I wasn't a great investor, but I had done just enough so that when the pandemonium came, I was able to pivot. And I want
Mm.
to encourage you today. I don't care where you are. I don't care how bleak it looks. I don't care how toxic the workplace is. I don't care how many things are dysfunctional for you in your life. I promise you, sis, if you take a breath and if you
Mm.
just follow and get with some like minded women, you too can live freely. You can create the dream life that you want and actually walk and live in it. So that's
Mm.
it. I hope at the end of this discussion that we leave somebody inspired to walk away. Just walk away. They'll be okay.
Mm. I love that. I love that. Because a lot of us don't trust ourselves. When we feel those feelings come up that this environment is not serving me, this isn't right for me, I know I need to make a change. But it's like getting over that hump of trusting yourselves. Because for so many of us throughout our lives, people have gaslighted us, right? It has shaken our trust in ourselves. So I would love to know if you would like to share, like, how did you get to that point of trusting that no, it's time for me to embark on this adventure and leave this environment.
I would love to say, Marissa, that I woke up and mustered up all this courage all on my own, but it wasn't
Hmm.
that way, really.
Yeah.
And I think many of us, because we are so hyper vigilant about being
Yes.
independent and doing it on our own, we forget there's help. And some of
Hmm.
us may not even know where the help is. And so for me, the help came in the form of therapy. it was
Mhm.
so divine. I mean, I have to forgive me. I know not everyone is a Christian, but I am a Christian. And so you'll hear that peppered in. It was really divine for me because the timing, I couldn't have planned the pandemonium. The pandemonium came, schools were closed, and it gave me the time to step back where I wasn't in that just rush, rush, rush. I knew that I knew this thing wasn't sustainable. And so I took that time to get into some intensive therapy. When I tell you I was in therapy every week, I didn't miss. I would blow folks off, family off. I do not give a hoot. I am going to go sit with my boyfriend. We're going to talk for an hour and we're about to unravel all these things that
Mm.
I have put off. So I started there with therapy. I knew that I wanted to go out into the world. I knew I was going to leave that job. I mean, that's just the natural progression of life. And I knew I didn't want to take all that stuff that I had picked up along the way, all those negative messages. I didn't want to take it with me. And so I did the intensive therapy, Marissa. And when I tell you for a year, it was the best gift that I had given to myself, and probably one of the only gifts I'd given to myself in such a long time. So many of
Mm.
us are givers, givers, givers. We don't even know how to receive. That therapy, just carving out that time and committing and, holding hands with, I'm telling you, he was such a an older guy, an old Peruvian guy, but he helped me. That year of therapy was priceless because I knew what I was there for. The intention was clear. We're going to leave all this foolishness behind. I'm not taking it with me. So that was the first step. The second part of me reaching out and not even having to ask for this part was the community that I aligned myself with. Again, just by divine kind of intervention, I came across Exodus Summit.
Yeah.
I had already been researching because I knew I wanted to leave. I had spent some time outside of the country. I got a chance to see a different lifestyle. I spent 2 weeks in Spain and I was smitten. Honestly, I started to call and quit right there. I was like, you know what? Let me get my boss on the phone. Y'all don't deserve me. I'm not coming
Mhm.
back. But I had to go back because I had to kind of, you got to wrap things up. You got to make sure
Yeah.
all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. So just that little bit of time away, it got me thinking there's another way. I can teach English overseas. I can do other things. As I was researching, all these teaching abroad programs, somehow Stephanie Perry popped up in my feed. Baby, God bless the day.
Mhm.
Because it was the missing piece for me. I had been out before. I did eventually, I pursued the teaching field overseas, and I did secure a teaching position in Spain. Well, I went, but Marissa, I didn't have this online community. I'm talking about a real pioneer. I was the only Black person, of course. My Spanish
Mhm.
was trash. And so most of my time in Spain, it was beautiful, but I was in isolation. And for
Oh,
me,
yeah.
that wasn't going to work.
Right.
So the second part of just to piggyback on that, the second piece of the help for me was aligning myself with a community of like-minded women who would encourage me. And I didn't have to explain this crazy dream of wanting to live abroad because so many of them shared the same dream.
Right.
So I would say a way to get over the fear, and if you're stuck in that toxic rut that so many of us have found ourselves, one, for me, the therapy helped. It helped to get really clear. Then finding community, aligning myself with a community of women who looked like me, who talked like me. They wanted the same things and they were so encouraging. Those two pieces were invaluable. And the
Mm.
third piece, too, was the time. I know we Black women, we just don't do it. We do not take time. We don't take 6 weeks off. We don't take 6 months off, but we
Mhm.
should. We really should.
Yeah.
And so the third part was just making the commitment. Actually, I really didn't even have to because of the pandemonium. I was off. So I had the time, I had the resources to get therapy. And then Stephanie Perry, Stephanie Perry, Rashida Dow, and
Yeah.
Adelia Abortishe, are they
Hmm.
not doing God's work?
They are.
These women,
They really are. Hmm.
they're doing God's work. And so those three pieces, therapy, the time away. I mean, because you need that time to settle your mind, settle your body, focus on yourself, and then
Hmm.
the like-minded community for support when I was doubtful about things. And there were plenty of tears. I cried the whole
Mm.
time. I don't know
Yeah.
what it looks like on this end, but during that process of pivoting, there were tons of tears. But I
Right.
had real sisters. I'm talking about real sisters. I could call at 2 in the morning,
Hmm.
3 in the morning, and they would say, "Sis, you got it. Don't worry
Hmm.
about it. We've all been there. We've experienced that same fear. Don't worry. You can do it. Take the next step. Even if you don't believe it, take the next step." Those three things together, it was the recipe for me. And it was really
Mm.
what helped me pivot in a way that I was really able to take the time and create exactly what I wanted for myself, which was a life of travel. I went into full retirement and a life of investing and sharing that knowledge with other women. So yeah, it's doable, y'all. And none of those things are pricey and expensive. You know, creating community, that's
Right.
totally free. That's
Hmm.
free. While therapy may be expensive for some, if you've got the benefits, please use them. My thought
Hmm.
was, listen, I know I'm leaving this company. Girl, I'm using all these benefits. I'm using everything. I'm using every benefit you got. Where is it? And that's okay because it's owed to you, sis. They owe you
Hmm.
that. You
Yeah.
gave of your mind, your body, and your spirit. They owe you that. I say
Right.
take that last year, use your FMLA. I used
Yeah.
every resource that was available to me in order to ensure that when I got out here, I was as healthy as possible, you know, mentally prepared and financially prepared as possible. So, sisters, it's
Mm.
totally doable. You have the resources. You just have to be resourceful. You just have to know
Hmm.
where to go. Make sure that you're using those employee benefits. Find a like minded community. If you have benefits at work that allow you to go to therapy, use all of it because it's owed to you and we deserve it.
Mm. That part. We deserve it. Yep. Because I
Deserve
know
it.
for me, even like taking advantage of the benefits at the job I used to work at, I'm like, oh, well, kind of, got to shrink back, don't want to use too much. It's like, no, that's what they're there for, to
Oh my,
utilize. Mm-hmm.
yes, it's a part of your compensation package when you think about it when they hire you, a part of your salary, that those benefits, that's a part of the package. So I don't
Right.
think that you should ever tippy toe around, can you take too no, go get those extra glasses. Go get all of
Mm-hmm.
it. Whatever it is that you need. I wish that I had thought of it sooner, to be honest with you, because there's some things that I still didn't get done. But it's a way, sis, to help prepare yourself and propel yourself to pivot. Make sure that you've taken care of yourself. And if your employer can foot some of the bill, all the better. They owe
Mm-hmm.
it to you. They owe it to
Yes.
you and you deserve it.
They owe it to you and you deserve it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just reading a comment from Marilyn here. She said, Amen. I milked my FMLA when I decided to exit. Yep. Yeah. And I also took a career break, 11-week career break using FMLA before I exited the toxic job permanently. So that is a benefit to you. I would definitely
Yeah.
look that up if you are at a job and you do need a career break or a sabbatical. Look up options for FMLA or short term disability, long term disability. These are ways that you can take that if you're still employed.
And Marissa, for teachers, there's actually a sabbatical. Sometimes we
Oh,
don't
really?
utilize this because we don't know. Yes, in my
Okay.
district, there was actually a sabbatical. There was a way that you could apply. Of course, you had to meet certain parameters, but many of us are doing work and research and doing other things and studying anyway. All I'm saying is ask.
Ooh.
Go through your
Mm-hmm.
benefit book, ask. You
Yeah.
don't know until you ask. And the only thing they can do is tell you, no, we don't have that, or no, that benefit doesn't apply to you. But just get some clarity for real, about what's available to you. And don't be afraid to use it. Use it all. Leave
Mm.
nothing on the table. My whole goal was to leave nothing on the table. I'm not leaving anything. Y'all don't get nothing else out of me. I'm a taker now.
Yeah.
And in very selfish. In the end, no. And I know
Right.
it's harder even for teachers and caregivers and people that are in fields where you provide services to others because you're always thinking, well, how is my absence going to impact the students? Or how is this going to impact my patients? Or how is this going to impact my clients? And I am telling you, there is somebody waiting in the wings to do what you do, sis.
Hmm.
We're special, we're unique, we got great talents, but I promise you, if you step back to take care of yourself, somebody's gonna fill in that void. Trust and believe. They put somebody else in that kindergarten classroom, they put somebody else in that third grade classroom, and I wish her well. It was just time for me to exit and pivot, and I don't feel guilty about it. I felt guilty leading up to it, but that final year, no, I'm telling you, getting with some good sisters who will talk you through
Hmm.
is just almost as helpful as the therapy was for me. Therapy was good for me unraveling some of the backstory, and then
Right.
getting me straight and getting perspective. But my sisters were my cheerleaders. Those were the people that, I couldn't call my therapist at midnight. I'm a girl, but I could get on the phone.
Yeah.
Tell you how many times I called Tony. I love Tony. I don't know if y'all know her, but Tony was one of the pioneers. I think she spoke at the very first Exodus Summit. Tony
Mm.
didn't know me from a can of paint. And I was going through one day, Marissa, the house, I was trying to sell my house to get ready, and the house sale had fallen through again. I said, what the?
Mm.
So
Hmm.
the only thing I could think to do, I said, well, let me call Tony. In a puddle of tears. I mean, just tears flowing. And she was so kind, so generous. I'd met
Yeah.
her through Exodus Summit. I'd never laid eyes on her. But those were the kinds of women, the caliber of women that I was able to align myself with. And when I tell you that group of women were just as helpful as the therapy and all the time away, all of that. I still wouldn't have been able to complete this pivot without them. And so I'm
Right.
forever grateful for that opportunity. And I am telling you, get you some old ladies in your group, get you some old women like me, 60. We don't care. We're just here to encourage because we've lived
Mhm.
it. We have no
Mm.
reason not to see you successful. Tony didn't have anything in her that didn't want to see me succeed. She gave me, I mean, all the advice just freely. And so
Hmm.
find you a good support group of women. I promise you, it's life changing. It has been life changing for me.
Hmm. That's so pivotal. Yeah, and I think with Exodus Summit, I know me being in my 20s still, but having access to women who, are there to support me, who have
Yeah.
gone through all these things that I'm going through, and being able to
Mhm.
learn, that has been such a blessing to me.
Mhm.
And I think that's really special to have such an intergenerational community. We're all going towards the same thing, and we can all share
Yes.
lessons with each other. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I learned, and you said it. I think that intergenerational thing is so unique too, Marissa, because now I get to tap into the youthful mindset, things that I'm
Yeah.
not really comfortable with. I am very comfortable and I know what I know. Technology is not really my strong suit. So I
Hmm.
have all these wonderful young people around me who grew up and they live in this technological environment and they're
Hmm.
so willing to share. And I'm talking specifically about Marissa because Marissa has helped me with my business. I was
Hmm.
not in business. You all know I was in education for almost 30 years. So to pivot, I had an idea, but the execution, I needed help. And
Yeah.
so that whole mindset of I'm in a safe environment where I can ask for help. Because what I noticed, Marissa, if people don't feel safe, if they don't feel secure and supported and really valued and loved, you're
Yes.
not going to get them to be vulnerable. They're
Hmm.
not going to ask for help. They'll do
Right.
like you said, we'll take a little bit, but we're not going to take too much.
Yeah.
But in this environment, these women that we have aligned ourselves with, I'm telling you, it's absolutely priceless. And it doesn't have to be Exodus Summit for you. That's what it is for me. That's where I found this group of women, this multi-generational, this multi-talented pool of
Hmm.
women.
Yes.
I'm telling you,
Hmm.
there is somebody in that group. who does everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Being able to tap into that is, I'm telling y'all, it's like heaven on earth. It is one of the
Mhm.
things that I really have been praying for, like, just for forever. Just
Mhm.
that group of women that I could count on. And there's never competition. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
Nope.
It really does encourage you to be vulnerable,
Mhm.
be transparent, say, girl, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me with this? And to have a sister look you right, girl, I almost get a little emotional about it. To have a sister look right
Okay.
back at you and
Yeah.
say, oh, I got you. I
Mhm.
got you. But
That's
I
right.
think it's the energy that we build up because so much has been given to us. Those ladies give so freely. Stephanie,
Mhm.
Adelia, and Rashida, they give so freely that it inspires me to just, pay it forward. So much was
Right.
given to me. How dare me be the gatekeeper of anything? If I know it, I'm willing to give it away just as freely as it was given to me. And I think it's that thing that makes this community in particular so supportive and so unique.
Mhm. Agreed.
So if you're
Agreed.
not a part of X, you need to be.
Yes,
You should.
please. Yes, I did put the link in the chat to join the community for Black women online, and it's free. It's free to join.
Absolutely.
But yeah, yeah, like you said, we're coming from all different industries, and a lot of us are disillusioned, right? We all have the same, like, what is this that we're living in? Like, we've put all the hours in, we've gotten all the degrees, we've done all these things, and it's like we're met with hostility and contempt still in these
Yeah.
workplaces in the US, right? In the country where we're from. And it's like we're on
Oh.
this shared mission of seeking freedom from all of that. So that's to be a part of that.
Hmm.
Like, wow.
To have
It's a
somebody
movement.
hold your hand when
Hmm.
you are making such a shift, girl,
Yeah.
you can't pay for that. You cannot pay
Right.
for it. And I'm telling you, you don't have to do it alone. That was the one thing that sent me back because I had spent almost 3 months in Spain on this teaching assignment. And I just didn't have the community. When I tell you the place was beautiful, everything was beautiful. The food was good. My accommodation's great. I cried almost every day. I
Hmm.
cried almost every day because I
Right.
was so isolated and I had no idea how to connect virtually or any other way. I didn't have any idea where to start. And so I felt like it was such a gift and again, so divine that I
Right.
found, Stephanie Perry and Exodus Summit when I did, because now I could go anywhere. I don't need to know a soul anywhere. I promise you. I feel like the sister, when you got your three big sisters standing behind you, now you
Uh-huh.
can talk all the stuff in the world because with
Yeah.
my sister behind me, what you gonna do? I feel that way. I feel
Yeah.
so much more emboldened. Like I'll go anywhere. Girl, I was in
Yeah.
Cambodia. Cambodia. Who goes to Cambodia? I was in Cambodia for a month. And
Yeah.
wouldn't you know, there was a sister who was traveling through Cambodia. That's the other
Really?
part. I promise. I cannot
Wow.
make this up. I
Yeah.
promise you, once you start to open up and you align yourself with whatever your tribe is, my pitch is find your tribe. I don't care where you find them. Find
Yeah.
that piece because you're going to need that support, especially if you're breaking away and you're pivoting from that toxic work environment, whether it's toxic relationships. Toxicity can exist in your life anywhere. It can be in your relationships,
Yes.
your workplace, it could be in your neighborhood, any of that. When you're trying to break away from something like that, that's such a big part and it's been ingrained in you, you've been in it so long, you're going to need some help. You don't have to go it alone. It's helpful to have a village, a tribe that stands behind you and that encourages you to keep going when it gets tough. And I'm telling you, that made all the difference. In Cambodia, seeing that other sister, I was like, oh God, yes. I stood up and walked a little taller in the grocery store because I don't feel alone
Mm.
anymore. And I know for some of us, the fear, feeling alone, like I'm the only one that's doing this. Nobody in my family understands. My coworkers certainly don't get it. It's okay. They're
Right.
not going to.
Right.
It's not for them. Find your
Mm.
tribe, find your family. I'm telling you, it's the best gift. It's such a gift. I can't overemphasize that part enough.
Hmm. It is. It is. And I
Yeah.
did want to ask you about traveling abroad. Has this always been a dream of yours to travel abroad? Like, how did this come about?
No, Marissa, I
Mm.
grew up, first of all, I didn't even know we
Hmm.
were poor. I didn't know because my
Hmm.
grandmother kind of insulated us. I grew up, on the south side of Chicago. So I knew the city. it was a for me as a little girl coming up, there was so much city to explore. That was it. I knew Chicago. Well, I went away to school. I went to school in Louisiana, and so I started to travel domestically first. I did,
Hmm.
once I saw Louisiana, I was like, okay, this is cool. And as I got closer to retirement, I just kind of bopped around the US looking for places to retire. I never thought about international travel, never thought about it. I figured I would retire somewhere warm in the Southwest, the Southeast, what most people think.
Yeah.
And it never entered my spirit. It wasn't a part of my upbringing. I didn't know anybody who traveled. It just wasn't a part of
Same.
my vernacular.
Hmm.
But my daughter, my beautiful daughter, invited me at the last minute on a trip to Barcelona. Now, you already know, if you're a mom, you already know what this is about. This is about money. This is about, because mama coming with the credit card, mama coming with the money. I didn't care. I was like, yes, I'll go with you to Spain. So we went for 2 weeks with my grandson. And again, this was pre-pandemic. This was in 2018. And we spent about 2 weeks in Barcelona. And it
Hmm.
gave me enough time to peep the lifestyle. Girl, these people had a real siesta. Siesta was real. I thought
Hmm.
siesta was something made up like in the cartoon with Speedy Gonzalez. I'm like, siesta not real. These people really close down their shops in the middle of the day
Hmm.
when it's hot. I was like, okay, that's interesting. On
Wow.
Sundays, they really took the whole family, grandmama and everybody went to the park. What
Right.
is this? Marissa, after dinner, because it's so hot in Spain, you know this because it's kind of true the same way in Mexico,
Hmm.
that in the daytime when it's really hot, people don't do a lot, but at nighttime, the city comes alive. So I'm watching Barcelona at nighttime. Grandmas are walking at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night,
Hmm.
having ice cream with their grandchildren. Girl, I was sold. I was like, oh, yeah, this is the life for me. I am
Right.
never going back to the States. The whole rhythm, the
Mm.
just the way they valued family, the
Yeah.
way they valued older people. It wasn't a
Hmm.
crime to be an old person in Spain.
Yeah.
You weren't parked in the corner somewhere. Grandma was
Hmm.
a part of it. All of that was very attractive to me. And so it gave me my first taste of what it would be like to disconnect from that whole America's Best, that
Yeah.
whole campaign of the way we do it is the way it has to be done. And it just planted the seed. So from there, that's where I got the idea that, okay, well then if nothing else, I can come here and teach English. I'll come to Spain and teach English, and I'll get a chance to enjoy this lifestyle. Well, it didn't go exactly the way I planned. I did go back, but again, without the community, it was difficult. So I had to come back home, regroup. But this
Hmm.
time when I was at home regrouping, that's when I ran into Stephanie and Exeter Summit. Girl, I had the missing piece. I was off back
Yes.
out. I said, you know what? That's it. 2 years, almost 2 years, because I left in 2021. So almost
Hmm.
3 years, really, to the date that I had come back from Spain the first time I was back out, and that was it. I haven't been back to the States since. It's like, yeah,
Wow.
it's a
That's
good life.
Yeah. Because I feel like that kind of gave you space to imagine. Because a lot of us are just so stuck like here, especially being
Yeah,
in the US, like they kind of limit our imagination to this is all that's possible. But once you have the chance to
absolutely.
travel abroad, you see people living different lives that look like what we want to live like. But
That's
people
it.
tell us that it's not possible. But to see that in
Mhm.
action, I think that really changes you and changes your perspective on what's possible.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the benefits of travel. It's
Yeah.
being able to see how someone else does exactly the same things you do. Everybody has to eat, everybody has to go to school, everybody has to work to provide for their families.
Yeah.
All of these things are the same. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter where you are, but how they achieve them and how they prioritize. That was what I saw as, oh my God, that was my oh my God moment. I don't have to live like this. I don't have to rush every day. These people take all day Sunday. What? I would be
Mhm.
at home studying or worried about lesson plans, or my tummy would start churning around 9 o'clock because Monday
Mm,
morning is coming and you got to be on your A game. I worked in an
mhm.
environment where you never wanted to be the weakest link.
Right.
That was like you would just run, run, run. And to see another way was eye opening, and it was the beginning. It was the beginning of the shift for me. So yes, I encourage everybody, please travel internationally and see how other people live and how they get it done.
Mhm. That's so true. And I did want to ask you, like you said, traveling internationally, it was the case for me too, right? No one around me was really doing it. So I'm the
Mhm.
first person to do this. And so sometimes that can like instill a sense of fear in us because we haven't seen anyone do it. I want to ask if other people may be scared to travel abroad if it's their first time abroad. Do you have any advice or tips to share with them?
We are so fortunate to live in a time where technology is available to us. If you've never traveled before, if you're fearful, I promise you, for me anyway, the more knowledge that I had, the more comfortable I am. If I know something, so if I understand before I go there that this is the kind of government that this country has, this is the kind of democracy, monarchy, whatever, that helps me feel a little more secure. As long as I know
Mm,
where my accommodations are, the airport is, I've looked at the embassy website, I've done all that kind of research. By the time I get there, I feel like I know this place already. I've looked at it online. I've joined all the Facebook groups. Facebook groups have been invaluable to me.
mhm.
Even thumbing through, like when you're scrolling on Instagram, once the algorithm knows that you're interested in something, it'll start feeding you that. So once
True.
I started, it'll give you what you want. All these travel things started to show up in my feed. Don't be afraid to reach out to these people. The worst they can say is no. If somebody is living in a place where you want to visit or you want to spend time, reach out. It's exactly what I did. I think that's how you and I got connected. You wanted to come to Mexico. I think
Yeah.
it's that ability now. People are accessible, information is accessible. So, one, get to know somebody there. If you don't know somebody, find somebody, reach out to them. If that's not enough to make you feel secure, do as
Mhm.
much research as possible, prepare in advance. Um, I definitely think that the embassy website is a resource, and I don't think many of us think to go there. But there's so much helpful information about the best time to travel. You know, scams that might be prevalent in a particular area. So for me, research, connecting with people through Facebook and social media is one
Mhm.
way that I quell any fears that I might have. And then just being super prepared. I always have it how I'm going to enter and how I'm going to exit. I always,
Mm.
before I go anywhere, I already know, like, here's my ticket. I have my ticket, my onward ticket, or whatever it is. I always make sure that I have enough cash, credit cards, debit card, all that stuff. Those are
Mhm.
the things that if anything goes down, you can take care of yourself.
Right.
Money might not make you happy, but honey, money can solve problems.
That's
Having a
true.
little cash on
True.
hand, it can solve a multitude of problems. So I would definitely say being prepared, do the
Mm.
research, reach out to
Mhm.
people who've done it or they're already there doing what you want to do. And then make sure that you aren't going so financially strapped, or so your budget is so tight that if something comes up, you aren't prepared. Just be as prepared as possible. Also, don't overlook travel insurance. I know that it just seems so mundane, like something you shouldn't have to say, but
Mhm.
that's another safety measure too. So I think there are many ways to attack the fear, the doubt, and the uncertainty if you want to travel abroad. And for me, having more information, having done the research, being prepared, all of those things, you've done all you can do. You've covered
Mhm.
all the bases. So do all
Yeah.
that you can do ahead of time to secure yourself and make sure that everything goes smoothly. And the rest, you just have to be open-minded, and you have to be willing to pivot too. Because
Mhm.
no, I can't think of one destination that I've gone to where everything went exactly the way I planned it. I've always had to do an audible. You always
Yeah.
have to do, you know, so you can't get
Yeah.
rattled by that either. You
Yeah.
know, things may not go the way you planned. It's okay. It's a part of the journey. So
Right.
letting go of some of that control, the need to control everything, has also been helpful too. That mind shift of having everything needs to go. No,
Right.
it absolutely won't. I can guarantee you it absolutely won't do that. You'll just aggravate yourself by trying to be so rigid. Give
Right.
yourself space to have the experience.
Hmm.
Most of us, we pay for these things, we plan for them, we dream about it. Now it's time to execute. Don't let the fear stop you from executing. You did all that stuff. This has been your dream or whatever it is. Go execute. Get out there.
Mm.
Take calculated risks. And
Right.
I promise it'll be so beautiful if you just kind of step back and let the experience happen. Let it just breathe and let it happen. You'll be
Right.
okay.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Yeah. I did want to ask, I see Samri has a question here. Fear of being alone keeps folks in toxic situations. How do you get over this fear? If you had any advice to share about that.
I think so much of that has to do with the way we see ourselves. Like, do do we see ourselves inherently as valuable enough to deserve the best? And I think that you have to start there. You have to start with and be honest with
Mm-hmm.
for real, for real. And you can do this. You can do this without a therapist. You can do this without a girlfriend. Anybody can sit quietly and for real have a conversation with yourself. There's no witness, nobody gets to judge it, nobody gets to jury. And just how do you really feel about yourself? What are you
Mm.
allowing to happen to you and around you? That'll tell you if you're not clear about how you feel about yourself. Peep how the people around you treat you. Peep how the situations around you are unfolding. If it's always something that's oppressive or you're compromising and shrinking yourself, I'm telling you right now, we're gonna have to do some internal work because
Mm-hmm.
the fact that we allow those things to happen over and over and over again, it speaks to maybe an unawareness.
Yeah.
We just aren't aware because we're so busy running, we're doing the things that we are not even aware of the foolishness that's going on around us and the impact. So one, you have to stop. Be honest. This is not working for me. And I'm the co creator in it because people can only do to you what you allow them to do. Situations can only exist if because you can always move. Nobody here is a tree. You can
Mm-hmm.
pick up and move. So
Right.
I think the first part to that is to stop and have a conversation with yourself and just be honest. Have I been a co creator in this situation? Or have I just, for whatever reason, allowed these things to exist? And if the answer is yes, and for most of us it is, we just allow some things because we're busy and we're lifing.
Right.
From there, you just have to say and understand and decide, do you want differently? Do you want something different? I want
Mm.
happiness. I want joy. I want peace. Okay. We already know you can't keep doing the same thing you've been doing, expecting to get something new. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to stop and absolutely declare out loud. I don't care if you do it on paper, you have to absolutely declare in your mind, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Little Nisi is worth it. I
Mm-hmm.
get you did all of that, sis. You did it. You've given to people, you've loved on people, you've let people take.
Right.
So today, if no other day, just for today, it's your day. I'm important enough today. I'm not doing anything I don't want to do. Nobody's getting anything from me I don't want to give. And I
Mm.
promise you, if you can get one day, you can get two. If you can get 2 days, you do that for a week. You prioritize yourself for a week. And the
Mm-hmm.
difference, I promise you, you start to emanate a light. And those people, they see, oh, she's moving differently. Oh, shoot.
Mm-hmm.
She's not taking
That's
the same
true.
foolishness. Oh, wait. Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. there's a change. And one or two
Yeah.
things will happen. Either they will come along with you, they'll say, "Oh, I see you wanting to do," or they'll fall away. Don't be afraid of the people
Mm,
that fall away. I know that fear of being alone can keep you stuck, but I promise you, what's on the other side is so much better. It is so much better because what you do now is you free up those seats. Because those toxic people, oh baby, they'll sit. They love that. They love to drain your energy. They love to be energy vampires. They love it. They want to
mm-hmm.
see you fall. They want to see you cry. They want to see all of that
Yeah.
stuff. When you can free those people, get those people out the seats, you know who gets in that seat? A sister who loves you, a sister
Mm,
who's been through the same thing that you've been through, because now the seat is
yeah.
clear. A sister who wants to see you do better, a sister who doesn't have anything to lose because you're winning. So I know it sounds almost oversimplified, but I promise you, it is as simple as that. And you don't need anybody to do it. It starts with the
Mm-hmm.
choice to say, I'm going to prioritize me and I'm going to do it today. And I may only be able to do it for a day. I may fall back into the same pattern, but that's okay. String you together 2 days, string you together a week, a month, and before you know it, it'll be a year where you are prioritizing yourself. In the foolishness, I swear it falls away because nobody, light and dark don't really stay in the same space. The minute you
Oh,
start shining brightly, oh no, the darkness has to go.
yeah.
They can't overtake you. What's the point? That's all darkness is there to do. The darkness is there to kind of overshadow, is to put out, dampen your light, dampen your spirit. And when the minute they figure out they can't do it, they're on to the next. They're on to the next person because that's what they do. Move
Mm,
the dark just a
mm-hmm.
little bit at a time and let some another light attach to you. I promise you. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. It is free. It starts with your mindset. Change your mind. Yep, we're all afraid, and know that too. We're all afraid. Nobody wants to be
Mm-hmm.
alone.
Yes.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first thing, we at that base, we need food,
Yeah.
shelter, but the next thing is we need love, acceptance, friendship, families, relate. We need all of that. We need that.
Yeah.
I get it. But you need the right kind. And I'm telling you, if you don't move that toxic stuff out of the way, it'll eat you up inside and out. But the minute you move it away and let just a little bit of light come inside, sis, it gets so much easier. Life, it turns, I'm telling you, you'll be smiling. It's like, yep,
Mm-hmm.
see it, I feel it. And I wish that for all of my sisters. Choose you, prioritize yourself, get with some light, and watch that darkness move out.
Mm. That was so powerful. Thank you, Sandra. Ooh.
Sis, that's my life. I'm telling you.
Ooh.
I wish I had read that in a book. It is not
Yeah.
what I read in a book. It is
Yeah.
what happened to me. It is exactly the path I took. The minute I started saying, you know what, just with one person, I'm just not going to tolerate that anymore. That does not leave me feeling edified. I'm not going
Right.
to do that again. I'm not going to sit with you and have a meal knowing that we really don't get down with each other like that just for the sake of not upsetting the group. So it could be something really small like that. Just say no, no. You turn down that invitation. No,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't serve me. I'm not doing that. You can
Right.
start as a job saying no to small things. No, no, I
Mm-hmm.
decline that. That's not a part of my work assignment. No, I don't need you to love me that much. I don't need you to like me. I don't need any of that stuff in return. Because so
Right.
often I think we are doing things so that we can feel loved,
Yeah.
accepted. We do it because some of us are people pleasers, and
Mm-hmm.
that's and all kind of childhood stuff. We look, you got to unravel some of your own stuff, sis. You got to
Mm.
unravel some of it. But I promise you, the minute you can quiet those voices that fuel us to be people pleasers and to stay in situations that don't serve us, the minute you can address that little thing and just start chipping away a little bit, it gets so much easier. It really does.
Mm. Mm. Thank you. Yeah. Mm. Thank you for that. Seriously, thank you.
Yeah.
I want to share a comment from Mara here. Let's talk about Mara. The only thing that I overthink about traveling abroad, taking a sabbatical, is the income making, which I think is linked to some trauma I needed to learn to trust myself. Yeah, and that's real. And that's real.
Yeah.
And you're doing amazing, Mara. I know you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did want to ask you, in transitioning out of a toxic job, what was your plan for moving abroad? If you want to share
You
anything about
know,
that.
Marissa, my situation was a little different. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'll say this, you'll hear me say it over and over again. It was such divine timing
Yeah.
because I was very close to retirement anyway. And so my situation is unique, but there are still some things that you can take away. My situation was unique. I was probably 53, 54. I was nearing retirement age. You could retire early at 55. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic happened. That gave me the time I needed, to take a breath and plan and watch videos and do all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I had to leave the job. I could have stayed. I mean, nobody was trying to force me out. I could have stayed. I could have stayed to make more money. I could have stayed to increase my pension, all kinds of things. But I knew that that situation wasn't working for me. I knew how bad it was. I didn't want to go in and eat every day. I was crying on my way to work. I was crying after work. I had the bubble guts on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
The thought of having to go back in there on Monday. So all the signs were there that this was a toxic work environment. And Marissa, here's another thing. I didn't even know. I didn't even have the language. I have confessed this to everybody. I've said it on multiple platforms. I didn't even know I was in a toxic work environment. Girl, I thought I
Mm-hmm.
was in menopause. I said, I had so internalized all of this chaos. I said, well, it must be me. It's got to be me.
Yeah.
No, no, life could not be this crazy on this many fronts unless it's me. It must be me. Turns out
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't the case at all. It was absolutely a toxic work environment. It was absolutely time to go. And so the plan really unfolded, I promise you, in the most divine way. The time presented itself. And you can't plan a pandemic. I had
Right.
already been abroad. I had been introduced to Exodus Summit. So now I took all of those pieces and I said, okay, Sandra, what is it that you really want? Again, this is the time when you have time, you can spend time alone with your thoughts. You can journal, you can ask yourself questions. But when you're in the rat race, and Marissa, you're running every day and you're doing, sun up to sundown, we all
Mm-hmm.
have that crazy work schedule. And
Yes.
the best part of your day is getting to the end and going to bed and you get up and do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't think. You can't think. You can't reflect. You can't
Yeah.
journal. You can't do those things. So taking the time to journal, to taking the time to write it down and say, Sandra, first of all, you got to deal with it. This is toxic. Got past that check. Then you have to deal with, what do you really want? What do you really want? Do you want to teach more? Do you want to be the grandma that does field trips? Do you want to be the cookie baking grandma? What do you want? And I knew
Yeah.
I didn't want to be. And this is hard. I'm telling you, because what you want to be might
Mm-hmm.
not be what other people want you to be.
Ooh.
And you may disappoint some people. It'll be okay. Get with your therapist, get with your good girlfriends, so that when it
Yeah.
comes time to make that break, and you have to say, well, guess what, baby girl, son, I'm not going to be the cookie baking grandma y'all thought. I'm about
Ooh.
to get out here in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not ready for your change. Everybody's not ready for your come up. It's okay. They'll get okay, or they'll get out of the way. They will get okay with you
Ooh.
evolving, or they will get out
Mm-hmm.
of the way. And the people who get out of the way need to be out of the way. Do not cry
Mm.
about it. Do not fret about it. Wish them well. I wish you well. Mwah. Go live. Go be prosperous, because guess what? That's what I'm about to do. I'm going to make this choice
Mm.
for myself. I'm going to sit down and write down exactly what that little girl inside of me wants. She wants to play. I want to explore. I want to ride my bike. I want to go to the mountains. I want to go to
Mm-hmm.
the beach. I want to do this. And that's how it started. I knew I wanted to explore. I didn't get enough of exploring when I was a little girl. I wanted to explore on my bike. I wanted to go outside. I don't want anybody telling me what to do. That was so from there, I was like, okay, well, how do we
Mm-hmm.
make this happen? How do you get
Mm.
to a place where you wake up every morning where you don't have to worry about what somebody else has assigned for you? How do you
Mm-hmm.
do it? So then I had to go to the money part. And I know that this is a concern for so many of my sisters. And that's really what led me to what I'm doing now. which is showing Black women how to take the money that you have. Because I know it feels like I only got pennies. It's okay. Pennies make
Mm-hmm.
dollars, and dollars make sense, hon. We
Ooh.
can work with your money. We can work with you with money. I don't care if you only have $5 to invest. It's better to invest that $5 than to do nothing, because so many of us think, well, it's only $5. You're right. It's only $5 today, but
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, that $5 will be $5.50. And I'm going to show you how to take that $5 and put it in a place where it can grow. So there are two things that I do now that,
Mm-hmm.
kind of help me. Which one is, how do you get income? How do you generate income? So many of us are at home on the couch. We're wishing to travel or pivot and do other things, but money keeps us in a toxic workplace. Well, there are plenty of things you can do. You have skills. If somebody is paying you to do that job, trust me, there's some value there. You can take that, I promise you, repackage it for yourself and sell whatever it is you're doing. Somebody needs it because somebody's paying you to do it right now. Do it for yourself. I know that that takes a lot of guts too. Get with your sisters, get with your tribe, get with people like Marissa who will show you how to pivot and take what you have and package it and sell it for yourself. You can generate income for yourself. That's income, that's work. You can get money for that. Another piece is, now that you've got a few coins, it doesn't take a lot. You can trade. You can put your money in the market and make that money make money for you. There's a short term way and a long term way. And I won't bore anybody today, but if you come with us over at From Lack to Legacy, we meet on Wednesdays, we can show you how to actually generate income in the stock market by trading stocks, options. You can trade futures, Forex. You can trade anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can generate income that, I mean, that day. It's just that quick. You turn your computer on, you make an investment. Most times, if you're smart and if you're trained well, you can make money. You can generate income in addition to your working income. And then we teach you how to take some of that money and put it away in a place where you have long-term investments. And those are the investments that will see you through retirement age and into the future. There's a way to live off of your dividend income. There are tons of ways, but we don't know. Nobody ever told me anything. Nobody even told me how to balance a checkbook. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn these things along the way. And it's been hard fought experience and knowledge for me, because nobody told me. I made all the mistakes. I made all the financial mistakes. I love my sisters who are sitting off, they're well off their financial, and they did it. I'm so happy you all did it. I didn't have that. That wasn't my experience. I was the sister who had two kids working. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So there were plenty of times when I felt the same way. I don't have any money to save. What are you talking about, girl? I'm at the gas pump making life decisions. I'm over here at the
Mm-hmm.
gas pump trying to decide, should I fill up my tank or buy milk? If that's you, I
Right.
understand. But I promise you, even if it's $5, there's a way that you can invest that $5, and that $5 will grow. Absolutely. The stock market, goes up and down, but in the long run, it always goes up. It just takes time and patience. So do not let money worries keep you in a toxic place. You have skills that are marketable, they're transferable. You can absolutely find a way to come out of a toxic work environment, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you could, have this lifestyle and not work or generate income. Of course, you need money, but there are other ways to do it. You don't have to be subjected to that foolishness at all, ever. You are the gift. We're the gift.
Ooh, you are the gift. Yes.
You are absolutely the gift. Girl, they wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
paying us if we didn't have something of value. Nobody is paying you to come to a job day after day because they like you or because you
Mm.
brighten up the room. That's not what it is. You
Yeah.
have a skill. They're paying you for that. Okay, I get it. But we don't make that connection. I was like every teacher, that worked in my building. I really bought the narrative that this is all I can do. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for 30 years. What am I going to do after this? Are you
Mm-hmm.
kidding me? You can absolutely, I don't care if you're a teacher, a baker, a singer, I don't care what it is. You have a God given talent that you can turn around and package it in a way so that it benefits you. That's one stream of income. You can invest for income. You can trade for income. You can provide a service. There are a multitude of things you can do to generate money. Please, that's the first mindset I need you to drop, that there's only one way to make money through a job. Not true. Not true. But so many
Mm.
of us buy into it because it's what we've been told. I am my
Mm-hmm.
job. My job pays me. I'm my job. That's what I do. Nope, not true.
Mm-hmm.
Not true at all.
Yeah. And so many of us have our identities tied to these titles, these roles, when really all we need is income to move abroad,
Yes.
a way to make income online, if that's the path you want to take.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get over those mindset shifts between, I am what I do, you absolutely are not your job. I mean, and I get that. We always think, that it's who I am. This
Mm-hmm.
degree, if I don't, my master's degree, I'm more valuable. No, none of those
Yeah.
things made me more
Yeah.
valuable. None of them. Not one class. Did they help me along the way? Yes. But I need you to keep it in perspective. It is not you. It's a tool. Education is a tool. It's a way to get from one place to another, but it is absolutely not. The doctorate, we talked about this so many times. One more degree is not going,
Oh,
the degree does
no,
not make you valuable.
no.
It does not. It never had anything to do with your value in the first place. You're valuable because you are a creation, you are a creator, you have gifts, you are the gift. And once you can see that,
Yeah.
selling Sandra. I'm doing what I do normally. I'm a teacher. It's the
Mm-hmm.
God-given talent I was born with. This is what I was born to do. I thought I could only do it for the Board of Education. It's a lie. Now I do it for myself. Who'd have ever thought that? Not one principal ever told me, well, you do know that if you leave it here, you could teach outside of here for yourself. Nobody's gonna tell you that. Why? How can I keep you on the farm? How can I keep you on the plantation
Mm.
by empowering you? So it's not coming from there. You have to get to
Yeah.
the source. I promise you, ladies, whatever it is, tap into your gift, find out
Mm-hmm.
what it is, and start to reimagine. How can I take this God given talent and gift that I have? How can I use this for my own benefit? I'm tired of benefiting other folks. How can I do it for me?
Mm. Powerful, powerful. And that's why like the world of digital entrepreneurship excites me so much because I'm like, we have all these skills, we have all these talents, we can take them. And like you said, it can benefit us finally. We don't have to ask anyone else for permission or rubber stamp
Yep,
on what we're doing. It's like, no, we just take power back into our own hands. Mm-hmm.
yep. And you are doing such a great work, Marissa, because so many of us,
Oh, thank you.
and I'm telling you, and I'm not, I'm not just blowing sunshine. I'm telling you the truth,
Yeah.
because so many of us. I was a teacher. I did not have a business background. I did not have a technology background. I had a great idea. I knew I wanted to use my skills in the same way I had been using them in the last 30 years teaching. I knew I wanted to do that. I knew I was good at it. I knew who I wanted to teach. I wanted to share this knowledge with older women just like me so that they wouldn't be worried about money. But the back of it, the back end of business, how do you reach people efficiently and effectively? How do you bill? How do you do all of these things? Well, you don't have to have it all, sister. That's why you're a part of a tribe and a village, because your sister next door, she has the skill. She has that missing piece. You just have to ask, align yourself and ask. Be willing to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't have all the pieces. I need this. Would you be willing to partner with me and do this for me? And that's, I'm telling you, if you all are starting an online business and you like me and you don't know anything about business, see Marissa. I mean, we don't want to overwhelm her and inundate her with, but I'm telling you all, made all the difference in the world. Marissa took some just simple things off of my plate, which allowed me to free myself to do what I really do, which is teach, create content, create curriculum, organize and do that part. I don't have to worry about the back end of the business so much. And the things that, there's a learning curve. It would have taken me weeks, months to learn these things. And my sister's standing right there with all the answers. Reach out to your sisters. It's a great way for us to support each other in business too.
That's so true. That's so true. And like we said earlier with Exodus Summit, all of us coming together with all of our talents and skills from all of these areas into one community. The power in that.
So powerful. So powerful. I tell you, just look around. There is somebody who does everything. There's a travel sister. There's somebody who creates music, journals, coloring books. I mean, there's someone who cooks. But that's Black women, period. I just know we're magic. We just wake up. We wake up and we're just magic. It is what it is. I think it's part of why so many people envy us from afar. They look and they see it. They see it too.
Yes.
They see your beautiful magic hair, girl. They see you moving and shaking. And they also know that if 5 or 6 of us get together, we're going to transform that whole thing. Whatever it was you gave us that little plane, whatever it was, put 5 of us in a room. Let me show you what it's going to be. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be more than what you ever thought it was going to be. And I'm sure that's, that maybe makes some people a little anxious and a little fearful when they see 5 Black women coming together, because it's going to be powerful.
It really is. It really is. Yes, Black women, period. Yep.
Absolutely. Period.
Absolutely. Yes. As we're wrapping up, I did want to ask you, how has moving abroad, traveling abroad changed your life? If you would like to share that, because I know a lot of us may be in that planning stage, that may be our dream, but it feels so far away. But if we can hear from other people how it has changed our lives, I think that's powerful. If you'd like to share.
Yeah, even if it feels far away for you, don't lose faith. I promise you. Just keep picking them up, putting them down, keep planning. You will get there. It has to fall. That's just the way life works. If you set an intention, you make the plan, you align yourself with all the right people, and you just start picking up your feet and you're just moving toward, you don't have to see it. I promise you, that's just the formula for manifestation. It is, you believe it first. You say it. And I mean, sometimes our belief is shaky. It's like that little bitty tiny mustard seed, but it's okay. That's a start. That's all you need. That's all you need. And do all those other things. Keep at it. It will come. Your time will come. And Marissa, I'm sorry. What was the question? What did you just ask?
I just asked about how moving abroad, traveling the world has changed your life and like your outlook on the meaning of life.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things. It's almost hard to put into words. The peace, the space to breathe. And for me, there's something about being in a new place when it's like a fresh start. All of those things support my mental health. They really support my physical health if I would stop sampling all the delicious food. Because being in open spaces where I feel safe, many of the places that I go to, that I've traveled to in the world, they don't have handguns. I don't have to worry about handgun violence. When I lived in Chicago is it's all of that. It's a big bustly city. It's a great place. It's beautiful, but you can get hurt if you don't know what you're doing. You could get hurt. Being away from the U.S., gun culture, just that whole colonizer, that whole animosity, being away from it, that toxicity, being out of it, you get a chance to breathe. Not everybody in the world sees me as a Black woman. Some people see me just as an American. And that is so refreshing. I can walk into a store and nobody is following me. Nobody cares. They're not. Those little things, just those little changes have afforded me the ability to breathe and relax. My body feels differently. I sleep differently. I walk through the streets differently because I'm no longer afraid. I'm not afraid of, any bodily harm. I'm not afraid of anything really. So for me, being away was kind of the antidote to the fear that I was living with, that constant fear of, whatever it was, something happening physically, not being mentally or emotionally safe. So many of those things got wiped away. And I'm not saying to you that travel is the antidote for depression or anxiety or any kind of mental malaise. That's not it. Because remember, you got to do the work before you get out in the street. I had to do a whole lot of mental work to prepare myself to get out here. But once I got out here, I wasn't carrying all that foolishness. I had already worked so much of that stuff out in therapy. So to get out here and have like a fresh slate, to be able to pick the place that you want to go, because that's a part of it. You can travel any place in the world, that little passport will take you. And let me tell you, that American passport is it's so powerful. Anybody that doesn't have a passport, here's my little PSA: get you
Mm-hmm.
a passport. Get
Yeah.
your children to get them passports, whether they're going to use it or not. It is the key. Now
Right.
you can decide to go any place you want. You like mountains, go to the mountains. You don't like the mountains, once you get there, you can change your mind. You think you like the beach now? It's okay. I did it
Mm-hmm.
all. I went to the beach, I went to the mountains, I did cities, the freedom to choose the place. And if you get there and it doesn't fit you, guess what? You could pack that stuff up and go find you another place. I guarantee you'll find some place on this planet
Mm-hmm.
that will support you. You will love it. It will love you. And so I think that's the biggest thing for me is I found multiple places that feed certain parts of me. Like a part of me wanted to be when I was in Playa, I wanted to be at the beach. I loved the beach for a season. And then there came a time when I couldn't stand the sand. So then I went to the mountains and I love the mountains until I was like, wait a minute, I don't think I like it here anymore. I think I want to go see
Wow.
something else. So
Yeah.
that's what travel, it is such a wide, beautiful, open world. If you have a passport and you have the desire, I promise you, it gets easier. The fear, you may be a little fearful on that first trip, but it gets easier. The more practice you get in, the more capacity you build for moving around the planet, it gets easier. And I promise you, you will find it. You'll find your Shangri-La. You will find your paradise place. I know I have, and I have several. You're
Mm.
entitled to have several. You don't have to have just one.
Mm. Mm. If you would like to share, I'd love to hear those places that you have found.
Are you kidding? My favorite places, I
Mm-hmm.
know this is very controversial because every place I go, I say, oh my God, I love it. But my top three, it's gonna always be this. I love Spain. Spain's got some problems, but I
Oh,
love Barcelona. I love the south of Spain. I love Mexico City. Mexico City to me is a
yeah.
world class city with small neighborhoods that if, the thought of 22 million people seems overwhelming to you, find yourself a
Yeah.
small, cozy, cute neighborhood in Mexico City. So doable. And thirdly, I think I have fallen in love with Chiang Mai. I love Bali, but
Yeah.
Bali got a lot going on. Bali's got a lot of nature. If you're a nature lover, I like Bali for the whole retreat, getaway, self-care. They are absolutely into self-care. But the nature, baby, the it was a lot. I'm talking about between the monkeys, the birds, the dogs. I was like, yeah, this might not be the spot. But
Mm.
Chiang Mai really has stolen my heart. It's city, but it's nature. It's got mountains. It's got it all. It's got everything. We're not near necessarily a large body of water, but it's close enough. It's a short trip away. So my top three for now are always going to be Barcelona, Mexico City, and now Chiang Mai. Those are my top three cities.
Yay. Yay. Thank you for sharing that with us. I know we're very
Yep.
interested to hearing your travel destinations all the time. So thank you. Um, but yes, I just want to thank you so much as we're coming to an end. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing everything that you shared
Thank
so generously with us.
thank
And I
you,
did want to,
Marissa. I love talking to
yeah,
you. We have a good time when we get
me
together. It's
too.
always easy.
Yeah, I know it is easy. It is easy.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you wanted to share how people can continue to follow your journey and anything else online.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
You can find me on YouTube at From Lack to Legacy. I live trade on Tuesday evening. So it'll be Tuesday morning for you. Then Wednesday evenings at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do a Zoom study session. It's absolutely free. We talk about all things money, investing, mindset. We talk about it all. If you're interested in joining us on Wednesday, please reach out at fromlack2legacy.com/study sessions. And yes, Marissa set that up for me. And so I'm telling you, it's just good stuff. So if you want to connect with us, if you want to get with us, if you want to learn a trade, you want to become a better investor, you just want to change your mindset around money, you definitely want to get with these women. These are some of the nicest women, I promise you, on the internet, just supportive. So you can definitely catch us on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at From Lack to Legacy. And of course on Facebook, all my socials, From Lack to Legacy across the board. We would
Yeah.
love to have you. Please, the more the merrier. I want sisters to be free. I do not want money to be the thing that's keeping you at home. I promise you, we can help you with the money part.
Mm, yeah, that's key. That's key. Well, I just want to thank you so much again, Sandra, for being
Thank
here
you.
and sharing. It is easy, and it's always a joy to talk with you. Well, thank you again, and thank y'all so much for being in the
Bye.
chat, contributing all your knowledge, community of knowledge here. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you guys. See you
Yeah,
soon.
until next time, y'all.
Bye bye.
Bye.